Is, as much as she's had a flourishing career as a royal, this is her first outing as Queen Consort. So I can just imagine it being every little bit fresh, new, possibly some awkward moments here and there, as we witnessed in that moment.
All right, then if we talk about the plans for the royal visit, Charles and Camilla are being greeted by President Frank-Walter Steinmeier and his wife, Elke Budenberger, at Berlin's Brandenburg gate, like you rightfully said, and the German public will get the chance to come face to face with the new king. And of course, they're going to be accommodating about 1,500 spectators. Members of the public began gathering at the iconic gate on Wednesday morning. Now, the two heads of state are expected to discuss sustainability and the transition to renewable energy, as environmental protection is one of the king's pet courses. And on Thursday, the royal couple will meet with the Chancellor Olaf Scholz and Berlin Mayor Franziska Giffey. Charles is also due to give a speech to Germany's parliament, making him the first British monarch to do so.
Absolutely incredible. Ahead of their landing, Their Majesty's RAF Voyager plane, which we just saw them come out of, was escorted by 2 German fighter jets. And some journalists are reporting us saying that nobody can remember such a gesture before, and it demonstrates how significant this visit is to both countries. Of course, we know the fallout between Europe and the UK post-Brexit. Relations are a bit icy. The general global international relations climate is in a tricky situation with the war in Ukraine, and it seems the world is being carved into various corners and spaces. So building alliances and making sure you're in good terms with your neighbors has become more important than ever, especially when we look at everything happening domestically within the UK. Of course, we know King Charles III is not a political figurehead, but we're going to be looking to see his direction with regards to foreign policy, with regards to diplomacy and diplomatic relations. So this should be a litmus test that will allow us to really gauge how involved and how much of a voice he intends to have when it comes to British foreign policy issues.
Right, definitely.
All right, so let's just cross back to King Charles III and Queen Consort, who are now in their stretch limo Bentley, I believe it is, and are about to head in. And hopefully we'll see the crowds lined up and people excited to see the majesties, their majesties.
You know, after Queen Elizabeth II's coronation in 1953, her first trip was a tour of the Commonwealth countries. But for King Charles, 70 years later, the priority is to build bridges with European allies, particularly at a time of pressure over Ukraine. Now, author and historian Anthony Seldon said it was a message to Germany that even though Britain might have left the European Union, it's not leaving the most powerful country in Europe. And this, of course, was originally planned as a dual trip to France and Germany. But because of what's happening in France right now, he had to start with Germany. And we're continuing to just see this push, of course, trying to mend the EU ties after Brexit.
That's right. So Envision is the RAF Voyager, live to you from Berlin. Of course, the King and Queen Consort are now off to the city, on their way to the city. What they did, though, while they were landing, which I suppose is an introduction to the new royal family, if I may say so, is that they shared a message via their Twitter, just celebrating their trip and sharing their excitement about being able to interact with the people of Germany. So it looks like we have a digital King and Queen consort in place in the UK.
We are crossing live now to Germany, where Britain's King Charles is making his first state visit abroad since becoming a monarch. The king, who did succeed his mother, Queen Elizabeth, as the British monarch in September, had been due to travel first to France, but canceled that part of his tour due to violent social unrest over President Emmanuel Macron's new controversial pension law. German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier will be greeting Charles and his wife, Queen Consort Camilla, with military honors at Berlin's most famous landmark, the Brandenburg Gate, which is a symbol of the country's division during the Cold War and subsequent reunification.
Super Hintergrund.
Ja, wirklich.
Well, the British monarch, King Charles, and his wife, Queen Consort Camilla, have arrived at the Brandenburg Gate in Berlin. The landmark is the backdrop for the royal couple's official welcome to Germany. Now, this is significant as it is the first time the Brandenburg Gate has been used to welcome any visiting head of state. Perhaps the most iconic landmark in the German capital, the monument is a symbol of the country's division during the Cold War and subsequent reunification. The 200-year-old gate was built as a monument to Prussian power, and it embodied German unity until Hitler's defeat at the end of the Second World War. It subsequently became one of the most potent symbols of Cold War division of Germany and of Europe.
And as you see there, we can see them walking down what seems to be a mall of some sort. Yes, that is German head Steinmeier next to King Charles as they wave, and Queen Consort in the back with the German president's wife as well. There's quite a few people in the crowd cheering. This is somewhat reminiscent of his coronation just a few months back, where there was such enthusiasm for the king and a lot of support from his nation. Well, now he's in Germany and he's still getting the support, and we see them walking towards the Brandenburg Gate. Like we said, it is the first ceremonial welcome held there for a visiting head of state, so a very significant day today. Steinmeier is poised to later on in the evening hold a banquet at the presidential palace, Schloss Bellevue, for the royal couple, as we see on our screens. He said, it was an important European gesture that King Charles had chosen France and Germany for his state visit. Let's listen in as the troops display.
Augen, auf! Augen! Rechts!
happy with that. Are they going to give you a party?
Oh, I don't think so,
Or a
but I
quick
give me a
drink?
present.
You know, let me party. Good. Now you want
Yes, we are.
In a very organized and beautiful ceremony, we see King Charles, along with German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier, currently on a walkabout, thanking the individuals who came out to support and watch this ceremony at the Brandenburg Gate. We know that the German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier was joined by his First Lady, Elke Brudenbender, who was in red earlier, and King Charles was joined by his Queen Consort, Queen Camilla, and we saw them earlier inspecting the Guard of Honor and, of course, gazing upon the German Navy sailors who had earlier welcomed King Charles and Queen Consort Camilla as they exited their Rolls Royce. Now, the military band also has been performing, and some special music choices, quite significant in order to make their British visitors feel at home. There were two distinctly British tunes that were played just a couple minutes back. That was The Land of Hope and Glory, and a little bit before that, a collection of James Bond theme songs in order to entertain the waiting crowd, who, as we see, are very happy to see the King and Queen Consort and are shaking hands and enjoying their company.
Well, of course, it will interest you to know that there is an extra significance attached to the first state visit of a reign, and King Charles will be making his mark with his visit to Germany. Now, such trips are carried out on behalf of the government, and this is a bridge-building exercise to renew relations that have been strained by Brexit. On the main road leading up to the Brandenburg Gate and around the square itself, the EU flag is flying conspicuously alongside the German and British flags. There are plenty of ceremonial rituals on such visits with bands and uniforms, just as we saw earlier. But this is about the serious business of diplomacy, with the king being deployed as an emblem of friendship between the two countries. And of course, we can expect to hear about some of the themes concerning both countries, such as the war in Ukraine and the pressures of climate change.
Emilia, just gives more space.
Then we could work. Then we could work and they could do the job. Das war die Politician.
Als Volontariat oder was? Hallo. Schon lange hier? Schon ein bisschen müde.